What if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back right now isn't your situation, your past, or even your lack of resources, but a belief you've been carrying silently your entire life? Think about that for a moment. There are people out there with fewer advantages, less education, and more obstacles. Yet they rise, they win, they build extraordinary lives. And then there are others with talent, intelligence, and opportunity who stay stuck, frustrated, and wondering why nothing ever changes. So what's the difference? It's not luck, it's not timing. It's something far more powerful and far more dangerous. It's what you believe you deserve, because the truth is you will never consistently rise above the level of your own self-worth. You can work hard, stay busy, and chase success all day long, but if deep inside you don't truly believe you deserve more, you will unknowingly hold yourself back every single time. You'll hesitate when it matters most. You'll doubt yourself when opportunities appear. You'll settle for less, even when you're capable of so much more. And the scariest part, you won't even realize you're doing it. This isn't just another motivational talk, this is a wake-up call. Because once you understand this principle, you'll start to see your life differently. You'll begin to recognize the invisible patterns that have been shaping your results, limiting your growth, and keeping you playing small. But more importantly, you'll discover how to break free. In the next few minutes, you're going to uncover a truth that can completely transform the way you think, the way you act, and the way you live. A truth that can raise your standards, strengthen your belief, and push you toward a level of success you may have never thought possible. So don't just listen, lean in. Because by the end of this message, you may never see yourself or your potential the same way again. The idea that your self-worth sets your ceiling means that the limits in your life are not first created by external conditions, but by the internal standards you accept for yourself. Every individual carries an invisible measuring line within their mind that determines what they believe they are worthy of achieving, receiving, and becoming. This inner standard quietly influences decisions, behaviors, and reactions in ways most people never consciously notice. When a person believes they are only deserving of average outcomes, they will naturally settle for opportunities that match that belief. Even when greater possibilities are within reach, they may hesitate to apply for higher positions, undervalue their skills, or avoid environments that demand more from them, not because they lack ability, but because they have already decided on a subconscious level that such success is not meant for them. On the other hand, someone who genuinely believes they deserve success, growth, and abundance operates from a completely different mindset. They pursue bigger goals, take calculated risks, and persist through challenges because their internal belief system supports those actions. Self-worth acts like a filter, allowing in only those experiences that align with it while rejecting anything that feels beyond it. This is why people often experience cycles of progress followed by setbacks. When they temporarily move beyond their perceived level of worth, discomfort arises, leading them to unconsciously retreat back to familiar ground. The mind seeks harmony between belief and reality, and when there is a mismatch, it will adjust behavior to restore balance, often by limiting progress. This ceiling is not fixed by talent, intelligence, or external opportunity, but by perception. Two individuals with equal potential can produce drastically different outcomes simply because one sees themselves as deserving of more. The one with higher self-worth interprets failure as feedback and continues forward, while the other may interpret the same failure as confirmation of their limitations. Over time, these small differences compound into vastly different lives. The most critical aspect of this concept is that self-worth is learned and can therefore be redefined. It is shaped by past experiences, social conditioning, and repeated thoughts, but it is not permanent. When a person consciously begins to elevate their internal standard by challenging limiting beliefs, affirming their value, and acting in alignment with a higher identity, the ceiling begins to rise. As their perception of what they deserve expands, so does their willingness to accept greater opportunities, take bolder actions, and persist through difficulty, creating a new reality that matches their upgraded sense of self. The idea that subconscious programming drives results centers on the understanding that much of what you do is controlled not by conscious thought, but by deeply embedded patterns stored beneath your awareness. These patterns are formed over time through repeated experiences, emotional events, environment, and the messages you absorb from family, society, and early life situations. Long before you begin setting goals or chasing success, your subconscious mind has already developed a framework that defines what feels normal, safe, and acceptable for you. This internal programming acts like an automatic system, influencing how you respond to opportunities, challenges, and even your own ambitions. When a person has been conditioned to believe that success is difficult, rare, or reserved for others, they may unknowingly resist situations that could elevate their life. They might procrastinate, overthink, or avoid taking action not because they lack motivation, but because their subconscious is trying to keep them aligned with what feels familiar. On the surface, it may look like fear or laziness, but at a deeper level, it is simply the mind protecting its established identity. Similarly, if someone has internalized beliefs of confidence, capability, and worthiness, they tend to act decisively, embrace challenges, and persist longer because their subconscious supports those behaviors. The powerful aspect of subconscious programming is that it operates continuously, even when you are not aware of it, shaping habits, emotional reactions, and decision-making processes. It determines how you interpret failure, whether as a temporary setback or a permanent limitation, and this interpretation directly impacts your future actions. Many people attempt to change their results by focusing only on external actions, such as working harder or learning new strategies, but without addressing the internal programming, those efforts often produce inconsistent outcomes. The subconscious mind will eventually pull behavior back toward its original patterns, creating cycles of progress and regression. This is why lasting change requires more than surface-level effort. It demands a shift in the beliefs that operate beneath conscious awareness. Repetition, visualization, emotional reinforcement, and intentional thought patterns are tools that can gradually reshape this programming. As new beliefs are consistently introduced and reinforced, the subconscious begins to accept them as truth, and behavior naturally adjusts to align with this updated identity. Over time, actions that once felt uncomfortable or unnatural begin to feel normal, and the individual starts to operate from a new baseline of thinking and behaving, which then produces different and more aligned results in every area of life. The idea that opportunities match identity is rooted in the principle that what you consistently experience in life is closely tied to how you see yourself at your core. Your identity is not just what you say about yourself on the surface, but the deeply held beliefs you carry about your abilities, your value, and your place in the world. These beliefs influence how you interpret situations, what you consider possible, and which paths you feel comfortable pursuing. When an opportunity appears, it is not evaluated purely on logic or potential benefit. It is filtered through your sense of identity. If the opportunity aligns with how you see yourself, you are more likely to accept it, act on it, and give it your full effort. If it feels misaligned, even if it has the potential to change your life, you may hesitate, doubt yourself, or reject it entirely. This process happens subtly and often without conscious awareness, making it seem as though opportunities simply come and go randomly, when in reality your identity is playing a central role in determining which ones you embrace. For example, someone who identifies as capable, resourceful, and deserving of success will naturally gravitate toward challenges and opportunities that reflect those qualities. They will interpret unfamiliar situations as chances to grow rather than threats to avoid. And they will be more willing to step into roles that demand higher responsibility or visibility. On the other hand, a person who sees themselves as unqualified or undeserving may shrink away from the same opportunities, convincing themselves that they are not ready or that the risk is too great. Even when they do step forward, their internal doubts can affect their performance, reinforcing the belief that they were not suited for it in the first place. Over time, this creates a pattern where each person's external reality begins to mirror their internal identity. The one with a stronger, more empowered self-image continues to expand their reach, while the one with limiting beliefs remains within a narrower range of experiences. This dynamic also explains why some people repeatedly find themselves in similar situations, whether positive or negative, because their identity continuously draws them toward familiar outcomes. Changing this pattern requires more than seeking better opportunities. It requires evolving the identity that interacts with those opportunities. As a person begins to see themselves differently, they start to notice possibilities they previously overlooked, respond with greater confidence, and persist with stronger conviction. Their actions become more aligned with growth, and as a result, the opportunities they attract and accept begin to reflect this new version of themselves, gradually transforming the direction and quality of their life experiences. The idea that people fear outgrowing their identity reveals a hidden psychological resistance that often appears just when progress is within reach. Every individual develops a sense of self based on past experiences, environment, and repeated patterns of behavior, and this identity becomes a source of familiarity and emotional safety. Even if that identity includes limitations, struggle, or underachievement, it is still known and predictable, which makes it comfortable on a subconscious level. When a person begins to move toward greater success, new levels of responsibility, visibility, or achievement can start to conflict with this established self-image. This creates an internal tension because growth requires stepping into the unknown, while the mind is wired to seek stability and consistency. As a result, the individual may experience doubt, hesitation, or anxiety, not necessarily because the opportunity is beyond their ability, but because it challenges who they believe they are. This fear is rarely obvious and often disguises itself as practical concerns, overthinking, or a need for more preparation. A person might delay taking action, second-guess decisions, or even withdraw from opportunities that could elevate their life, all while convincing themselves that they are being cautious or realistic. In reality, they are protecting an outdated identity that no longer aligns with their potential. This pattern is commonly referred to as self-sabotage, but at its core, it is an attempt by the subconscious to maintain a sense of continuity. Success can feel uncomfortable when it introduces unfamiliar expectations, new social dynamics, or a shift in how others perceive you. And this discomfort can be strong enough to push a person back into familiar patterns. For instance, someone who has always identified as someone who struggles financially may unconsciously make decisions that keep them in that position, even when better opportunities are available, because a different reality would require adopting a new identity they have not yet accepted. The challenge lies in recognizing that growth is not just about changing external circumstances, but about allowing your sense of self to expand beyond its current boundaries. This requires a willingness to tolerate discomfort and uncertainty, understanding that these feelings are not signs of failure, but indicators that transformation is taking place. As a person repeatedly chooses actions that align with a higher version of themselves, the unfamiliar gradually becomes familiar, and the new identity begins to feel natural. Over time, what once felt intimidating becomes part of who they are, reducing resistance and making further growth easier and more sustainable. The idea that belief must precede achievement emphasizes that success is not something you first see in the external world and then accept internally, but something that must be established within before it can consistently appear in your reality. Every meaningful accomplishment begins as a mental acceptance long before it becomes a physical result. When a person truly believes they deserve success, that belief shapes their perception, influences their behavior, and strengthens their persistence in ways that are not always immediately visible. Without this internal conviction, even the best strategies and opportunities can fail to produce lasting results because the individual is not fully aligned with the outcome they are trying to achieve. Belief acts as a foundation upon which all action is built, determining how much effort you are willing to invest, how you respond to obstacles, and whether you continue moving forward when progress is slow or uncertain. When belief is weak or inconsistent, actions tend to reflect that uncertainty, leading to hesitation, inconsistency, and a tendency to give up when faced with difficulty. On the other hand, when belief is strong, it creates a sense of certainty that fuels persistence, allowing a person to push through challenges with greater resilience and focus. This is why two individuals can follow the same path yet experience completely different outcomes. One operates with conviction, while the other operates with doubt. The mind naturally seeks evidence to support what it already believes, so when someone believes they are capable and deserving of success, they interpret setbacks as temporary and continue taking action until they succeed. In contrast, someone who lacks that belief may see the same setbacks as confirmation of their limitations, reinforcing a cycle of inaction or withdrawal. Belief also affects how opportunities are perceived and utilized. A person who believes in their potential is more likely to recognize and seize opportunities, while someone who doubts themselves may overlook or avoid them altogether. This creates a gap between potential and performance that is driven not by ability but by mindset. Developing this belief is not about blind optimism, but about consciously choosing to adopt a perspective that supports growth and possibility. It requires repeated reinforcement through thought, visualization, and action, gradually building a mental environment where success feels natural and expected. As belief strengthens, it begins to influence every aspect of behavior, aligning thoughts, emotions, and actions toward a common direction. This alignment increases the likelihood of achieving desired outcomes, not through chance, but through consistent and intentional effort guided by a clear internal conviction that success is not only possible but deserved. The idea that rewriting your inner narrative is essential centers on the understanding that the story you continuously tell yourself shapes your identity, your decisions, and ultimately your results. Every person carries an internal dialogue made up of beliefs, interpretations, and assumptions about who they are and what they are capable of achieving. This narrative is not formed overnight. It develops gradually through past experiences, repeated thoughts, emotional events, and the influence of external voices such as family, society, and culture. Over time, these inputs create a mental script that begins to feel like truth even when it is limiting or inaccurate. When this inner narrative is negative or restrictive, it acts as a barrier, quietly influencing behavior in ways that prevent growth. A person may consistently think, "I am not capable, I always fail," or "success is not for me." And these thoughts begin to shape how they approach opportunities, challenges, and even their own potential. They may hesitate to try new things, avoid taking risks, or give up easily, not because they lack ability, but because their internal story has already defined the outcome. This narrative becomes a self-fulfilling cycle, where thoughts influence actions, actions produce results, and those results reinforce the original belief. Breaking this cycle requires conscious effort to challenge and replace the existing narrative with one that supports growth, confidence, and possibility. This process begins with awareness, recognizing the patterns of thought that have been operating in the background and questioning their validity. Many of these beliefs are not based on objective truth, but on past experiences that no longer define the present or future. By intentionally choosing new thoughts and repeating them consistently, a person can begin to reshape the way they see themselves. This is not an instant transformation, but a gradual shift that requires persistence and emotional reinforcement. As the new narrative becomes more familiar, it starts to influence behavior in a positive way, encouraging actions that align with a higher standard of self. Over time, these actions produce different results, which then strengthen the new belief system. This creates an upward cycle, where improved thoughts lead to better actions and better outcomes, reinforcing a more empowering identity. The power of rewriting your inner narrative lies in its ability to change not just what you do, but who you believe you are, and once that shift occurs, your external reality begins to reflect this new internal foundation in a consistent and lasting way. Success is not determined solely by effort, talent, or opportunity. It is ultimately governed by the beliefs you hold about yourself. Throughout this message, one truth remains clear. Your life expands or contracts in direct proportion to what you believe you deserve. Your self-worth sets the limits. Your subconscious programming directs your actions. Your identity filters your opportunities, and your fears can either hold you back or push you forward. If your beliefs remain small, your results will reflect those limits, but when you elevate your inner standard, everything around you begins to shift. The path to greater success is not found outside, but within, by transforming the way you see yourself and what you allow yourself to receive. When you consciously rewrite your inner narrative, strengthen your belief, and align your identity with the future you desire, you remove the invisible barriers that once held you back. At that point, success is no longer something you chase. It becomes something you naturally step into. Thank you for taking the time to engage with this message and invest in your personal growth. The fact that you are here means you are already seeking something greater for your life, and that alone sets you apart. As you move forward, carry this understanding with you and apply it daily, because real transformation comes through consistent action and belief. I wish you strength in moments of doubt, clarity in moments of confusion, and unwavering confidence as you rise toward the life you truly deserve. Good luck on your journey, and remember, the power to change everything begins within you.